The New York Sixers stuck it to the Lakers Sunday, scoring 143 on 57% shooting. Joel Embiid led the way with 37. Magic Johnson took in the game courtside and made headlines discussing Ben Simmons and the Lakers' unrequited effort to snag Anthony Davis.
Did you feel like the negotiation that you had was a good faith negotiation?
No. We knew that basically at the end of the day, what happened, happened. And we knew that when we first started. So, you know, in terms of what happened. But hey, it is what it is. I'm going to say this again. Quit making this about thinking these guys are babies, because that's what you're treating them like. They're professionals. All of them. And this is how this league works. They know it. I know it. That's how it goes.
I was wondering if you enjoy watching Ben Simmons play.
Oh, for sure. For sure. He reached out to me, not to me directly, to the Lakers to find out if we can get together this summer. I said, hey, you got to clear it with the league. And if everybody, the Sixers sign off, we sign off, the league sign off, that there's not nothing going on, but he wants to know how to play the position as a big guard, da-da-da-da-da-da, it's fine.
Well, if you've been following this, the idea of Ben Simmons getting together with Magic and the discussion of it has led many to accuse Magic of tampering, which would be not the first time, by the way. But the league clarified today with this statement, quote, "We have concluded that Magic Johnson's statements regarding Ben Simmons do not constitute a tampering violation." The Philadelphia 76ers initiated the contact with the Lakers by requesting a meeting between Johnson and Simmons. Both organizations ultimately concluded that such a meeting did not make sense at this time. But in that context, Johnson's response to a media inquiry regarding Simmons does not run afoul of league rules, end quote. Sean Powell, also in compliance with the show here on Game Time, and joins us from Atlanta, about 2 miles away, in fact, as he continues to cover the LA Lakers. A lot of stuff going on here, Sean. This tampering thing took on a life of its own. Magic made his comments. Elton Brand attempted to clarify. Now the league. How is this story played with the team, if it's even been a blip on their radar?
That's really above their pay grade. I mean, Magic probably should just said, Ben, who? Who is that? I don't know who you're talking about. He just gave too much information there. It really was a big miscommunication. Look, there are a number of teams around the NBA who feel threatened by Clutch Sports, an extension of LeBron James, great relationship with the Lakers, and all of a sudden, of course, Ben Simmons is represented by them. And it's a tough look for a number of teams around the league who feel threatened. I guess Philadelphia felt threatened. I don't know why, because Ben Simmons is in a great situation in Philadelphia. I think he's probably going to be there for a long time. But in any event, I think it was much ado about nothing. It didn't really filter down to the players. It was, Magic Johnson dealing with yet another issue as far as, being a general manager and, speaking out of turn. But that's it. It didn't go any further than that.
All right, on the floor, the Lakers are 2 out of the final playoff spot in the West. Tonight they finish up their longest trip of the season and head into the All-Star break. What's the outlook for the last 25 games after tonight for this team?
Well, I think they'll have to go into the break just to get refreshed and refocused. It's been a tough 2 months for them. They had LeBron James's injury. They had some losing streak. They lost to some teams they had no business losing to, the Knicks, for example. And they had the the trade rumors, Anthony Davis, and whether or not some players are going to stay and some players are going to go. So I think the All-Star break is coming at a good time for them. They can start anew after the break. But it's going to be a tough haul because they're going to have to go something like 19-6, 19-7 to reach 47 wins. Now, last year, 47 wins was the get-in mark for the Western Conference playoffs. That's when you had Minnesota and Denver playing on the final game of the regular season. And I can see something like that happening again with Sacramento right there, the Spurs right there. The Clippers were probably going to go south after that trade of Tobias Harris. But the Lakers with LeBron James, they've got a ceiling. Look, you've got LeBron James and you're going down the playoff stretch. And by the way, this will be the first time in a long time when LeBron James has had to play meaningful games at the start of April. He's going to have to put his pedal, put the pedal to the metal there, and he's going to have to play pretty much 36, 37 minutes. If it's going to be a tough stretch for the playoffs, he's going to have to play like an MVP.
Well, he led the league in minutes last year, playing all 82 games, and obviously at this point it's a difference of whether he's on the floor or not, because the Lakers were easily a playoff team with him and fell out without him. Sean Powell tracking L.A. on their road trip tonight here in Atlanta. Appreciate the time. We'll see you in Charlotte.
Anytime.
All right, taking a look at those standings as we referenced with Sean. There's L.A. sitting there 10th at the moment, 2 back of the Sacramento Kings, still hanging
LA is
around
actually
here in February.
9th. Los Angeles
I'm sorry, LA,
10th.
Los Angeles is 10th.
That's
LA
not
is
even
9th.
a little bit misleading. That
No. LA is the Clippers. Los Angeles is the Lakers. You should know that at home, right?
Exactly.
Why don't you know that? Anyway, to the point on, let's get to the tampering thing first, because this has become a convoluted story. How would this come about typically, that there would be this sort of confusion about one party reaching out to another party about a player potentially getting together with a Hall of Fame player who happens to run a different team?
Well, fortunately, there's not typically this kind of confusion. And the way this would ordinarily work, I can just talk about the way I've seen it done in the organizations I've been with. Rich Paul represents LeBron James and Ben Simmons. Rich Paul calls me as the general manager of Philadelphia and says, hey, we'd be really interested in having Ben get to sit down with Magic and just talk about what it's like to be a big guard.
Pick his brain.
Right.
Yeah.
And as Elton, you say, I'm not sure I'm really comfortable with that. Let me talk to some people. I'll get back to you. Or because Rich Paul represents Ben Simmons and LeBron James, Rich Paul tells LeBron Ben would like to talk to Magic. LeBron tells Magic.
Right.
Magic calls Philadelphia. We go from there. That's really how this goes. So it would be highly unusual for this to have been started by Philadelphia. And when you saw Elton Brand's first comments about this, he said, the Lakers asked us,
right,
and we said no, and this was about a month ago.
And then he walked it back and suggested that Philadelphia reached out to L.A.
And the funniest part about this is there's no tampering involved, even if it's Rich Paul telling LeBron that Ben would like to talk to Magic. That's not tampering. We've become really concerned with things that have no bearing on anything else. This would be the NBA's equivalent of fake news to me.
Right. Well, and by the way, given the Rich Paul connection, there could be all kinds of tampering from player to player. It's not officially tampering because the teams aren't involved, but players talk to each other. This is not a secret. And if they wanted to conspire to get player A to team B, that happens all the time, Coach.
Come on, that's not.
My first reaction when I first heard this, I said, why right now? Why just coming off the trade deadline with everybody's name out there that was going to go here or there? Those guys are worried about not going home that night in the same city, and then all of a sudden this comes out. But then I thought about it for a second and said, wait a minute, maybe the intention was, will Magic be in Charlotte for All-Star Weekend? Could we get together and meet there and have a 2-3 hour discussion about how should I be a big guard in the NBA? So maybe that's why the timing was now. Does that sound too good to you?
I'm willing to buy that.
More importantly, if you're Brett Brown or Elton Brand in this case, but what are your thoughts on that? Do you allow this to happen? I mean, potentially, theoretically, it could benefit your player in the short term. On the other hand, that player, that Hall of Fame player, happens to run the LA Lakers.
I think I'm alarmed if I'm Elton Brand. My defense mechanism goes up right there, and I sit down with him and I say, what are your intentions and why? And when he tells me this is one of the greatest ever, I'd like to try and learn from him.
I don't care at all.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that.
You wouldn't have a problem with it?
No, none whatsoever. It's going to happen anyway.
Sure.
You might as well help facilitate it and benefit from it.
Right. That's fair. Completely fair. Are we done with the story?
I feel good.
Let's move on.
We're done? All right. We're done. I'm declaring this story over. We're just
I guess we're done with it.
Let's all move on with
we're
our
done.
lives, can't we?
The Monsignor said we're finished.
More coming up here on Game Time Live. Draymond Green on that dust up with Kevin Durant back in November. And much more on the way.
Luka Doncic and the Mavs are in Houston to face the Rockets just after 8 Eastern right here on NBA TV. Doncic is currently averaging more than 20 points, 6 rebounds, and 5.5 assists per game. Our Jared Greenberg is in Houston, and he talked to Luka.
Luka, we've been seeing you do it all year, and after yesterday's fourth quarter, it just seems like the transition has come so easy for you to the NBA game. Would you say it's been relatively easy at this point for you?
No, it's not easy at all. It's a lot of work, a lot of things that are behind that people don't see. It's not been easy for sure. It was everything new for me, so it's getting better, but it wasn't easy for sure.
Look, you made the comments earlier in the week about the NBA game being easier to score than in EuroLeague. Do you hear from a lot of players in the NBA who are talking to you about that so far? Do you expect players to talk to you about that?
No, it's just normal. It's just because of different rules. It's just because of that.
Are you at all motivated by not making the All-Star team?
I mean, I was hoping that I wouldn't make it, but for some reasons I didn't. It's no big deal. For sure I wanted to be there, but I work harder and play better for next year not to be there.
Tonight in our studio, we're going to have Trae Young there. Would you like to talk any trash to him about the skills competition?
Nah. I signed there for have some fun, just compete against different players and just to have some fun.
After all the trades went down the last few days, Mark Cuban, the owner, said the team's not tanking. We're trying to make the playoffs. Do you believe in your heart of hearts in your rookie season this Dallas Mavericks team could overcome what you have to overcome to make the postseason?
Yeah, I always believe that until the last game. Until the last game, we have chances. I'm the guy who wants to win, and I believe that till the end.
Last thing for you, Luka. Tonight we've got your step back versus the Harden step back. Can you compare and contrast? What's the difference? What's the same between the two of you and the way you approach the game offensively?
I mean, I think his step back is on another level still, but I think I like the step backs. It gives me confidence, but I think his step back is on another level.
You're 2-0 against him. You obviously expect to go 3-0 tonight.
I hope so, yeah.
Luka, thank you so much. Congratulations. Best of luck.
Thank you.
So let's look at the list of rookies who have averaged at least 20 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists a game. It's elite, guys, and Luka is on it.
That is a pretty elite list. I mean, Tyreke Evans snuck in there up in Sacramento. We don't even really remember that, but you see Michael Jordan on that list. You see Oscar Robertson on that list. That is a really impressive list. And
LeBron James is good also.
Yeah, we talk about LeBron so often. I wanted to mention.
We had gone, how many? 27 minutes without mentioning his name.
Almost.
You're welcome.
So I wanted to get Oscar in there. And, sometimes we forget about Michael as well. But this guy has done it as his team has been really competitive, too. I mean, without some tough road losses, the Mavericks really would be right in the hunt in the Western Conference. And he's been clutch in the fourth quarter as well.
Yeah, he's been able to be ball dominant late in games and to drive winning. And he's done that his whole career. And it's a really meaningful thing when you're in Europe and you win the EuroLeague Final Four and you're MVP of the EuroLeague Final Four and you're MVP of the EuroLeague season. The reason you're MVP is because you're making a profound difference on winning and losing basketball games, and that's what he does. And I think they got to the point where Coach Carlisle realized, I'm going to put the ball in his hands, and that's really what precipitated the Dennis Smith trade, was because he was choosing the efficiency and size of Luka, because he's just natively really good at making other people better.
Yeah. Well, we talked earlier in the show about how the last time that these two teams faced off, his team was down by 8 late in the fourth quarter. He rips off 11 points in a row. Talking about that clutch gene, but he did the same thing on Sunday in a 1-point win over the Portland Trailblazers. He recorded 28 points, 9 rebounds, and 6 assists.
Yeah, but that was against a playoff team. Does that matter?
Does that count?
I think so. I think that counts a little bit.
What is it, though? Can you describe what the clutch gene is? What is it that gives you that confidence? What is it that when the time matters most, you're able to shine the brightest?
Well, in listening to his interview, to me, winning is one of those big things that helps to solidify the clutch gene. If, in my experience, having the opportunity to help my team secure the victory, put us up 1, up 2, tie at the end, that meant the most to me. And to me, Luka Doncic, he loves to win so much that in those moments, he wants that responsibility. He's craving the responsibility of making sure his team wins.
But there are a lot of players on winning teams that don't necessarily want to be responsible for the win or the loss in the final moments.
And in most of those cases, not at any point in their basketball career were they the ones responsible for those moments. Luka's international career, when he would play with the juniors, they won. When he played with the senior national team, they won. Winning's a frequency that the kid is tuned to. He doesn't fear the moment because he's used to, okay, this is what I do. And when you don't fear the moment, you can have greatness happen to you because you're willing to take chances. He's going to fail at the end of a lot of games, but he recognizes this is my time.
Well, we've talked a lot about this rookie class just in the last half hour, so don't miss Open Court Rookies, February 18th at 8 Eastern, right here on NBA TV. It is game night, and we've got a tweet from JT. Playoff Jay Tatum. Luke and Harden, step back contest tonight. You guys think we're going to see it?
I don't know if we'll see a step back contest, but we are going to see a scoring contest.
Unofficially, yeah, I'd say that's what's happening.